Welcome to this week's podcast. My name is Andrew Wilkinson, Director of Trading Education at Interactive Brokers. And we are coming to you today, December the 10th, ahead of the FOMC decision from the Prosper Trading Academy Ultimate Traders Experience event in Las Vegas. And I'm joined by my co-host, Jeff Praissman, and Scott Bauer of Prosper Trading Academy. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Scott, tell us a little bit about the Prosper Trading Academy event here today. You've had a very good turnout with lots of people. Interactive Brokers, along with SIBO and Quasar Markets, is sponsoring the event. What are you hoping to achieve?
Yes, thank you, and thanks Interactive Brokers first and foremost for helping make this a reality. This is a conference where we wanted to get traders of all kinds who are members, students of Prosper Trading Academy, get them all together. Obviously, have some fun because we're out here in Vegas, but the goal is literally to be face to face with all of our trader educators and to really be able to dive in to see how we go about things. How do I trade? How do our futures traders trade? How do our day traders trade? Show them the tools, show them the analytics that they use, and actually trade live with them. And when we do it on a daily basis, remotely, even though it's live, it's certainly not like literally being in the same room with someone. So we've had a great response so far. We've got a whole nother day to go, and hopefully some fireworks today maybe with the Fed. But again, really appreciate Interactive Brokers participating in this and being a sponsor.
One of the strengths here, you've brought a lot of options traders of various degrees of skill. Tell us about those.
Sure. We have students, we have traders that are just beginning. We have traders that have been trading options for 10, 20, even 30 years. And the bottom line is we all know that there are strategies for every scenario, right? And what we like to do is break those down and really tailor a specific strategy or the way to go about something based on someone's experience, right? So someone that's just starting off, I'm probably not going to be discussing iron condors, broken wing butterflies with them because you've got to start, you've got to build that base. And we are very, very much about making sure everybody learns from the ground up. But some of the more experienced traders, where maybe we would talk about just doing a call spread or a put spread, we'll dive into maybe, something that's a little bit more intricate, whether it's ratios, whatever it might be. So that's the beauty for us educators as well, is, we're not just always teaching the same thing over and over and over. It is, just like the market, it is really just ever changing, which is great for us.
Scott, so while we're here and, you and I have the pleasure of basically every other week we're talking markets. So, kind of going back to our usual stuff, like what have you seen over the markets the last 5 days or so that really caught your interest and, kind of where the markets are headed?
I think first and foremost, we all have to be aware of what's going on in the bond market, right? And even though the likelihood is this afternoon in a few hours, there's going to be a cut, why have we seen the 10-year go from right around 4%, even just under 4% up to 4.2? I think that should raise some level of concern just in regards to the data that's been missing, the eco data that is going to really now start flowing, that maybe many see that inflation is not under control. Inflation is still up near that 3% number. And, if we look at global rates, right, what are we seeing with global rates? They're going higher, right? Whether it's in Japan, Germany, Bank of Canada came out this morning. They kept rates the same. They didn't lower them. So I think that is somewhat of a concern. But so far, the market has been unbelievably resilient to that. Is that going to be the case after Powell speaks today? We'll have to see.
And speaking of that, we spoke back during Thanksgiving where it's typically a low week and it was actually pretty crazy. So we have a couple, obviously with the Christmas holiday and New Year's, although the market's open full day of the 31st, obviously, I think it's safe to say a lot of decision makers may be on their own vacations between Christmas and New Year's and maybe leaving second or third or fourth in commands in charge. But do you expect to sort of, maybe not have a holiday lull given the way this entire year's been? I know we're fast forwarding a little bit, but
no, and that's exactly right, Jeff. Typically, we do see that lull. This year has been anything though but historical, following historical norms, right? From the beginning of the year on, we have seen things happen this year that really nobody would have expected, that history doesn't tell us should happen, inclusive of what just happened a few weeks ago over Thanksgiving holiday, where it is typically pretty light. And boy, we really saw that volume tick up. So I actually expect it to be pretty busy into the end of the year. What does pretty busy mean? I think we're going to see volatility remain pretty elevated. I don't see a lull going through the holidays. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of positioning coming after the announcement today, people trying to get ahead of what might happen in the first quarter.
Scott, the misery index has been, I think it's at the highest since 2023. So that's the combination of unemployment, the unemployment rate, and as you just mentioned, the rate of inflation. So that's at, I think, 7.3 combined. So where does it feel like the economy is heading right now?
Well, it's actually not a cliche, but the explanation out there is this K-shaped economy. And I think that any walk of life, even if you go outside here in Vegas and walk around and talk to people, you're going to see that. You guys go back home out on the East Coast and talk to people walking down the street, you're going to see that. I see that whether it's on the trading floor in Chicago or amongst friends, neighbors, people. And I think that big divergence is a problem. It really is a problem because that upper end, they're doing okay. The market's near all-time highs and everything is going great, but kind of middle class on down, people are really struggling right now. And I think that's something tough going into the new year.
Scott, this has been great. We appreciate you having us out here at this conference. It's been a real pleasure too, just to talk with different levels of traders, from the educational standpoint and just getting a feel of what they're looking for in an educational product as well. So I think from mine and Andrew's standpoint, this has been, really great conference to be part of. And we appreciate you including us. Until next time, you can check out more from Scott at prospertradingacademy.com and also catch stuff from him on our IBKR.com educational campus website. Just click on education, scroll down to campus, and you can see podcasts, webinars, articles, and everything else.
Thank you, everybody.
Brilliant. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Jeff. See you soon.
The analysis in this material is provided for information only and is not and should not be construed as an offer to sell or the solicitation of an offer to buy any security. To the extent that this material discusses general market activity, industry, or sector trends, or other broad-based economic or political conditions, it should not be construed as research or investment advice. To the extent that it includes references to specific securities, commodities, currencies, or other instruments, those references do not constitute a recommendation by IBKR to buy, sell, or hold such investments. This material does not and is not intended to take into account the particular financial conditions, investment objectives, or requirements of individual customers. Before acting on this material, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular circumstances and, as necessary, seek professional advice. Options involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. For information on the uses and risks of options, you can obtain a copy of the Options Clearing Corporation Risk Disclosure document titled Characteristics and Risks of Standardized Options by going to the following link: ibkr.com/OCC. Multiple leg strategies, including spreads, will incur multiple transaction costs.